All right, we're going to do some baseball talk here.
All right.
What, Fred, we talked about a little bit with John Morosi. And we do have some sound here. So there was a story today. Jim Bowden, who's a former Major League general manager. You know that. He works for CBS Sports. I know Jim. Jim was the general manager when I was in Cincinnati. He came after Bob Quinn.
Okay.
And he reported today, Rob G., correct, that, well, this was this past weekend. On Sunday. That Shohei's done. He's not going to return. He's not coming back to Anaheim. Let's hear Jim Bowden.
I am being told that Shohei Ohtani is not going to re-sign with the Angels. That Shohei Ohtani has gotten to the point where he wants to be in the playoffs and World Series the rest of his career. He does not like losing. I don't see a pathway where the Angels are going to be all of a sudden become perennial contenders. I don't see it with their farm system. I don't see it with their resources. I don't see this happening. I think he's gone. And I think the Dodgers are going to do everything they can to land them. They prepared this year. They let Trey Turner walk. They made a lot of decisions last offseason. They have not spent money because they were waiting for Shohei Ohtani. And I think they got a legitimate shot of landing him. And if I'm the Angels, am I going to let Ohtani go for a draft pick? So I gave Ohtani all that money. I never finished above 500 with him. And now I'm going to get nothing back? I mean, do you remember when the Nationals held on to Harper and he left and they got nothing for him? Well, they learned their lesson, right? Because then they got Soto and then they traded him for 6 players and now their future is bright. If you're the Angels, you have no choice but to trade Shohei Ohtani. You have no choice. Or if your choice is not to trade him, you should either lose your job or sell your organization.
Wow.
Okay.
Now, those are some fighting words. Those are hot words there by Jim Bowden. I think he's spot on.
Yeah, it's not a news flash, Jim.
Right?
I got to be honest. This is not a news flash. If you followed this all the way through, there's a couple of things. Number one, he's correct. Ohtani wants to win. He's always said that. And he's been in a situation where he has not won. By the way, with arguably the other best player in the game at the time, Mike Trout.
Which is really the crazy part on how they can't sniff the playoffs.
Right. All right. So they haven't won. He wants to win. The Angels should have traded him last year, but they do have business interests. They do have sponsorships from Japan.
Trying to sell tickets.
But the problem is this. With the Angels over the years, their owner, Arte Moreno, has not been afraid to spend money because he spent it, like on Josh Hamilton.
He spent just some bad money.
He spent bad money. He gave Albert Pujols a 10-year deal. Everybody loves Albert Pujols, but they shouldn't have given him a 10-year deal for that money. So he spent money. He's just spent it incorrectly. He's not spent it on infrastructure. So now it comes down to, do you want to be the guy to trade Shohei Ohtani?
That's the big thing.
If you remember during the offseason, he said he was going to sell the team, but then he said he couldn't because of his love of the game, and he still has it in his veins. If they lose Ohtani, he's got to sell the team because there's no reason to keep it. He should have sold it, A. New owners should have come in, shown the kind of commitment they could make to him, tried to quickly rebuild the infrastructure and prove that they were doing it, and then have him make a legitimate decision. The Angels are not in a position where they're going to win. Their manager has a 1-year deal. Their general manager's contract is up at the end of next year. They're doing everything they can to try to entice him, but they're going the wrong way. No disrespect to the players. They're going the wrong way. They're not going to win. So now it comes down to, what does he do? Here's my theory. He wants to win, but he's also going to make a ton of money, by the way. And let's just eliminate this possibility. If they were to trade him, the logical place to send him, really, and the team that's rumored to have the best chance to sign him is the Dodgers. But the owner of the Angels is not going to send somebody up the 5 freeway to the Dodgers. I cannot see that happening.
I can't either. There's no way he's going to do, and I say this figuratively, do a deal with the devil.
Right.
You know, like, right? That's the. We're going to hurt this organization and help them,
we're not
so that
do
nobody will ever want to be an Angels fan.
All right, so here's his only option, and I hope he's listening. I mean, he lives in Arizona, so maybe he has your show on. He listens to you and Chris all the time.
Okay.
All right, here's what I would do. If he was going to sell the team, and let's say he said it was worth more than $2.5 billion, so I'm going to round it off to $3 billion. I'm going to do him a favor. I just made him $500 million. Team's worth $3 billion. You sell 1/3 of the team to anybody, an investor, somebody that wants a piece of the pie. Here's $1 billion. Rob, I'm giving you $1 billion. I own 1/3. You say, Fred, thank you. And here's what I'm going to do with that $1 billion. What? I'm going to pay Shohei Ohtani $1 billion.
Fred.
That's the only way he keeps him. That's the only way he keeps him.
You can't give $1 billion to Shohei Ohtani.
Break it down for how many years? There you go. I got you covered. Or I'll figure something out. Or I'm going to pay you for the next 900 years, and you'll make so much a year so we don't go over the competitive balance tax. And here's your money. Now settle in.
You don't have to, as good as he is, I'm not paying Shohei Ohtani $1 billion to stick around. Especially when you had Trout, who everybody touted as going to be the greatest player who ever played the game. And he's been to one playoff. Because he's not enough, Fred. It's bigger than, I mean, as great as he is, it's not enough to invest $1 billion into one play. He's going to get $500 or $600 million. I don't doubt that at all. And you'll make a lot of that back, right? With the sponsors from Japan and all over the world, and Asia, anywhere, right? You'll get that back. But $1 billion, Fred?
Well, look, desperate times require desperate measures. They're not going to win. If winning is his deal,
right,
then he's going to be gone. I don't know if they trade him at the deadline what they get in return. So if winning is his deal.
Well, anything other than nothing.
Okay, but.
Which is what the Nationals did with Bryce Harper, which was a mistake. And Jim Bone's right. Can't let a guy walk for a draft.
If I'm running the Angels, I would have moved him last year. I need to start winning. I need to put together a club and a structure that allows us to have sustained success.
But that sounds like, I hear you, but they're thinking, look at all these season tickets we sold. We have one of the hottest guys in pro sports that people want to see.
Yep.
It's a business, Fred.
I know.
They want to sell tickets.
I know.
I don't know what their TV ratings are with Shohei. I know that they're good. There's a lot of other stuff that goes into it. And you don't think Arnie Moreno doesn't want the building to be a buzz and people to want to see this guy wearing an Angels uniform?
But would the building be a buzz if you're in first place? Would the building be a buzz?
But you don't know that.
Yeah, but you've got to start somewhere. You've got to start somewhere. So at this point, I mean, they're kind of in no man's land. They're not going to win this year. He doesn't want to stay with a team that's not going to win. If you trade him, you don't get the kind of haul you could have had if you traded him last year. They backed themselves into a corner here. And maybe the best course of action for them, the hell with it, we'll play it out. And don't blame me. I didn't trade him. See? He left. You guys hate him.
No, you know that's a part of the conversation. Am I right?
Absolutely.
That's it. That you don't want to be known as that guy who let an all-time great go. Because that's what people always talk about, the Red Sox owner who sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees. He was financially strapped, and he wound up selling them. All right,